My name is Marc Spivey, and I'm an entertainment insurance broker. And I'm sitting right now in Santa Monica at the American Film Market. And this is a place where foreign buyers come to buy the rights to distribute American independent films. It's a very popular and bustling film market that's held annually here in Santa Monica. And I'm here to network with clients and to see old friends.
And tell us a little bit about you, where you grew up, and how you got in the business.
I grew up in Southern California, and I've been an entertainment insurance broker for close to 4 decades. This is my area of specialty, and more specifically, I specialize in film production and television. I arrange and place insurance for projects that shoot all over the world, and all sizes and all different types of productions.
So what kinds of insurance are involved in film production?
You have 2 primary exposures when it comes to film production. You have the exposures that relate to the actual shooting of the film, and then you also have the exposure of your final content. During principal photography, there are several policies that you will absolutely need in order to shoot your film. There's general liability, there's automobile coverage, there's an entertainment production package policy, which is designed to address all of your property exposures related to filming. That's your equipment, your prop sets, wardrobe, your locations, and it can even include things like your cast insurance. Cast insurance is intended to protect the production company if a principal cast member is injured or falls ill, and you're incurring additional expense until they can return to the camera and be replaced. There are other coverages. It could, if you have stunts, or you have watercraft, drones, pyrotechnics, animals. Any of that stuff is also part of physical production and may need treatment with different insurance products. Post-production, typically you keep your coverage until you deliver your finished production, and so the coverage is available to protect you and the digital content or actual film if you're still shooting on film, and the insurance will protect for the overhead costs to reshoot that until your final delivery or protection print of your finished product. So the second part of your exposure related to your production is claims that it can arise out of content. So that would be copyright infringement, invasion of privacy, libel and slander, unauthorized use of likeness or title. You used my image without my permission, you slandered my name, you stole my idea. And all of those types of exposures are covered under what's called media liability errors and omissions policy. And typically, you don't secure that until you're ready to distribute your product. You may need to get it earlier if there's a completion bond or some other financing that's requiring it before you actually shoot. But it's a whole separate underwriting process, and it requires that you follow certain clearance procedures, and is an essential and vital part of the overall insurance program for filmmaking. The biggest mistake most new filmmakers make is they're typically trying to get a production done on a very lean budget, and they may have favors for equipment, they may have favors for actors. The thing that they need to understand is that you can't get a favor for the insurance. The insurance is a set cost, particularly on the smaller productions. There's no leeway for negotiation on rates, so there's a minimal buy-in, and they really need to factor in to their budget the insurance cost estimates when they're putting their budget together. And it's critical that they really use an insurance broker that specializes in this area, because traditional insurance brokers who are somewhat generalists in business they don't have the understanding and are familiar with the nuances of insuring film production. They probably don't even know where to go to get it. So it's really important that you develop a relationship with an entertainment insurance broker who is familiar with the process, can help you understand the coverages, and provide you with a quote and discuss possible options for coverage.
What is the range of costs associated with this?
Sure, I'll actually give you kind of a reference point for both. For doing your physical production, the insurance cost, even for just a small, no budget shoot of say 3 or 4 days, you're still, if you're going to cover yourself adequately and properly, and you need to pull permits, and you need to provide insurance to equipment vendors, and you have work comp and crew, and you're renting vehicles, you're looking at anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 minimum for all of those coverages. So you need to understand that. Once your budget gets up into an area where you've overcome absolute minimum premiums to just turn on coverage, then you can plug in to your budget. Let's say you're doing a $2.5 million film. Then you should use somewhere between a conservative estimate would be a 1.5% to 2% of your total budget should be line itemed in for your insurance. Errors and omissions insurance, the absolute rock bottom price for a policy right now, which would provide you with a $3 million aggregate limit, $1 million per occurrence, and probably a $25,000 retention, is probably around $3,500. The factors that impact cost on E&O are your budget size, your content matter, some things, if it's controversial subject matter, animation, things that draw claims, then typically there's going to be more underwriting and the rates might be higher. The limits of coverage that you need, sometimes the distributor might want you to have a $5 million limit instead of a $3 million limit. That's going to raise the cost. And then the other thing is how ultimately your product is going to be disseminated. If you have a theatrical release film, then that immediately means that you're more at risk of drawing claims because people see that as someone that might have deep pockets and they might try to get money out of you. So there's a variety of different factors. So you could start at $3,500, it could go up to over $20,000. There's a clear underwriting process for errors and omissions, and when you need errors and omissions, you'll have to complete that application yourself, and it comes with a 1 or 2 page list of the clearance procedures that you're compelled to follow in order to be cleared and approved for insurance.
And for those who don't understand the way insurance works, could you explain what an underwriter is and what they do?
So I'm a broker, which means that I'm your advocate, but I'm also the liaison with the insurance company. The insurance company employees that I go to are called underwriters, and they're who I communicate with, and they're ultimately the ones that will either accept or decline and then ultimately quote something for you. They're looking at information. The more information I can give them on your behalf, the better I can advocate on your position and elevate the underwriter's comfort level, always inures to your benefit. So with them, information is keen. Invariably, they may come back with more questions about a production, but ultimately they're the ones that are providing the terms and the limits and the premium.
Now, without sounding funny, is the broker basically the filmmaker's friend then? Because they're the intermediary that can help them, right?
Your broker should be someone that you know you can trust and is advocating on your behalf. And always remember that the broker is always on your side, and the more forthright you can be with him, the better position he is to do what he needs to do for you, which is to get you as much coverage or the best coverage at the best price available in the marketplace. And ultimately the broker provides a service role to you, because when you're making a film, there's all kinds of things that can happen. You need certificates of insurance. You may need requirements and contracts looked at to make sure that the insurance is meeting those needs. And then any claims, if claims come up, you need to understand how how to manage that. So the broker's role is to be your advocate, and you should feel comfortable with him and develop her and develop a long-standing relationship with him is good, because you always know where to go to if you need something.
Now, there's always this misunderstanding about the fair use doctrine when it comes to E&O insurance, but it's a murky area, isn't it? And sometimes it requires a lawyer's opinion letter, right?
Absolutely. That's why you need someone like Lindsay to help you with these things, because there are certain nuances with what you can use without getting rights approved. There's some stuff that is fair use. There was a Supreme Court decision many years ago about material before a certain date, and the application asks these very specific questions. And one of the questions the application asks is, who are you using for your legal clearance procedures? So that's why it's really important that you do have an entertainment attorney who's familiar with copyright law and can help you kind of manage those things that you need to be doing. The worst thing you can do is to make something and you've overlooked these things, or you want this production and you didn't get the clearance for music or the rights to use some footage, and now you're going to have to go back and retool your whole project because you don't have the rights, and you're never going to be able to distribute it, and you're never going to be able to get insurance for it.
When in the process should they start reaching out and putting their insurance team together?
Insurance should be in the discussion before you ever go into pre-production. You need to understand what your needs are and make sure that you have the insurance, because ultimately when you go into pre-production, you're going to need to provide certificates of insurance to procure equipment, secure locations, pull permits, rent vehicles, and cover your crew for work comp.
If somebody wanted to reach out to you, where could they reach you?
Well, I can provide you with my email address, which is mspivey, that's MSPIVEY, at the name of my company is Higginbotham, that's HIGGINBOTHAM.com, or you can even call me on my cell, which is 310-245-0048, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about insurance.
Thank you, Mark. This is a great interview.
Lindsay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.